Finally, the big moment came. I went to see ACDC in Dresden. It was fun. Angus was on fire. The sound was great. 80,000 people having fun. But there was a relatively big elephant in the room, and in this video I'm gonna tell you all about it and give this concert my rating. So ACDC are on their Power Up tour. That's their first tour actually in 8 years, and it's to follow up on the latest album that came out in 2020, Power Up. I listened to that album a lot. I really liked it because back at that time there wasn't a lot of fun stuff happening in the world, but I wasn't really hopeful that they would tour again. I mean, Brian Johnson had his hearing issues, they had Axl Rose stepping in that back then, and I just thought he wouldn't come back. But he came back, they announced this, and I thought, okay, I gotta see this. So I bought a ticket to the earlier show of 2 shows that they're doing in Dresden. Now, some of you might know that I see over 100 bands live per year, and this concert was definitely one of the ones that I was most excited for. I would say this one and probably Judas Priest that you can actually check up here. So I was really looking forward to this, but I was also a little bit scared because I don't want to see my heroes fail. Now, that place in Dresden was packed, 80,000 people. We came 4 hours before ACDC went on stage, and we thought we had plenty of time, but we didn't. We actually had to settle for a space 500 to 700 meters away from the stage. So I was super worried that the sound would be awful and that I wouldn't see shit. But then it started. But it turned out that the sound was actually amazing, which was a positive surprise. And then they had these screens all over where you could see what was going on the stage, even if you couldn't see the stage or in details. So everyone could see something, but those screens were not in sync with the music, and that sucked. So they started with If You Want Blood, and then they went straight into Back in Black. And for the first 3-4 songs, I kind of felt like, okay, it's on, it's working. Brian is pulling it off, but then Thunderstruck came. And then I was thunderstruck because they made a slowed down version, but he still struggled with keeping up with the pace of that song. It was painful at times. And that was kind of to be throughout a lot of the major hits that we all want to hear in those concerts. He struggled with them, but then he actually performed very well on songs like Stiff Upper Lip and Have a Drink on Me, and these are not the songs that people come to see. I mean, these are good songs, but we come to see Hell's Bells, Highway to Hell, Thunderstruck, you know, You Shook Me All Night Long. These are the songs that we come for. The rest of the band was really good. I mean, obviously Angus is kind of the centerpiece of this whole thing, and he was kind of running around the stage in his beautiful green school uniform, and you know, he didn't really look like a 69-year-old that is probably somebody's grandpa. And Steve Young, Chris Chaney on the bass, and Matt Log on the drums, they kind of create a bass or a background that allows Angus kind of to do whatever the fuck he wants. And he did one of the longest guitar solos that I've ever sat through. It was like 15 minutes. It was fun, but maybe a little bit too long because it was kind of in the 3rd final song or something like that. The setlist was 21 songs, and I can't really say that I felt that anything was missing. I mean, if you wanted to hear all the major hits, you would hear all the major hits. For me personally, I would have really loved to have 1 or 2 more songs from the new album, but that's just my personal preference because I really like that album. Now, when I'm reviewing concerts, I do understand that some of the things that are there are not within the control of the band. And one of those things was that they played almost the whole show, apart from the last 4 songs, in daylight. And that meant that the lights on the stage and all the special effects and all the stuff that is going on wasn't super visible. I do get it that that's not the band's fault, but it took a lot away from the atmosphere, in my opinion. And when you have 80,000 people in the place, you kind of need every trick in the book to kind of get them on their feet and, you know, get them jumping and get them involved. And that's another thing. The crowd engagement was kind of non-existent. It was after 14 songs that Brian said, hello, how are you, and stuff like that, which is kind of weird because if you think about ACDC, they have these anthems, they have songs that we all know, songs that we all want to sing along. We have all sang them drunk somewhere. So it would have been so easy, 2 to 3 songs to kind of get the crowd going. And if he doesn't want to do it, because he doesn't want to destroy his voice or something, get somebody else on the band to do it. I mean, the drummer looked fresh, so get him to do it. Now, the pros of this concert. The band was great and Angus was definitely on fire. There was a great sound even there in the far back where I was. Now, the visibility with the screens was also really good because, you know, that meant that everybody got a chance to see the band actually. All the hits were there. There was nothing really missing from the set list. And it was well organized, you know, no struggle getting to the toilet, getting food or beer or whatever it is that you wanted. Now the negatives, the elephant in the room, Brian Johnson. I'm not sure he should be out there doing this right now. Maybe there is something wrong or whatever. I know he's not a young man, all that stuff that you're gonna tell me, and I should respect this and so on. But yes, I have seen also older men. I saw Glenn Hughes last month and he was great. I mean, so it's possible, but Brian Johnson, he's just not on right now, and it's off in the wrong songs, you know, in the songs that we actually love. Now, the syncing of the video on the screens, I'm not a technician, but I can't imagine that it's hard to get a screen that is maybe 100 meters away from the audio source to be synced with the audio. But who am I to judge? Playing in daylight, I know it's not their fault, but it doesn't allow the show and the stage and all that stuff to kind of flourish. And there was this lack of crowd engagement, so that was not really good. I'm still gonna give this concert 8 out of 10. Now, I'm really, really happy that I went to see this band again, you know, because it's one of my favorite bands, and it's ACDC, these are legends and gods and all that stuff. I'm not 100% sure I will go and see them again if they come around again, because if this is any indication of where they are, then I think it can only get worse from here. I would be very happy if you would like this video and subscribe to my channel for more concert reviews, album reviews and interviews. And then I want to tell you about this concert that I saw in March with my other looking forward to concert, Judas Priest live in Prague. Check that out.